Welcome back to By the Numbers here on the College Guide. Today I'm going to answer the question, does school rank actually matter? If you haven't been watching these videos so far, this playlist is all about numerical and statistical analysis of colleges. So if you want to know about what the average public or private university is, or what the important differences are between them, check out this playlist here and start from the beginning. So to give you a little bit of a background here on statistics and the kind of analysis I did here, there's something in statistics called a correlation coefficient, or R is what it's called, and then an R squared value, which is just R squared. What these things tell you is how strongly two different things are correlated. In this whole video, we're going to be talking about how college rank correlates with some other variable like cost, graduation rate, graduate salary, or something like that. The closer it is to 1 or -1, the stronger the correlation, where a 1 means that for every increase in one, we'll say an increase in rank, a better rank, there is a proportional increase in the other, and so it creates sort of this direct positive, a direct, it creates sort of a direct relationship, kind of like that. On the other hand, if it's a -1, then that means there's a direct negative relationship. So for every increase in college rank, then there is a decrease, so a negative relationship, whereas one goes up, the other goes down. And then you square it, and that's sort of an overall fit. In the end, the higher your R squared value, the stronger the correlation is. And again, correlation does not equal causation, but there are trends you can pay attention to. So this is how I'm answering the question of if school ranks matters. So I had this video split into two groups of correlations. The first one are the strong correlations. Again, I was pretty lenient here with the definition of strong. I think I just said any R squared value over 0.5, which isn't super strong. Normally, if you're in looking for concluding research in science, then you're looking for a really high correlation value, like maybe 0.9 or something really high. So 0.5 isn't strong, but these are the strongest correlations to come out of the data I crunched. The first one that I want to talk about is graduation rates. So both four-year graduation rate and overall graduation rate were higher at schools that were ranked higher. And so that probably doesn't come as a surprise, because if a school is ranked higher, they probably have better programs, better teachers. They're harder to get into, and so the students who get into them might be more prepared and primed to do well at college, especially if you're looking at exclusive private colleges. But it does mean that it tells you a little bit about the atmosphere, maybe. If you go to a higher ranked school with a higher graduation rate, everyone there is working towards the same goal, and your peers are definitely going to stay with you as you go through your college career. The second strong correlation I want to talk about is the admissions requirements, all three of them, SAT and ACT scores, as well as GPA requirements. So higher ranked schools are more competitive to get in, more people are applying, and therefore you need higher scores. Now this just kind of makes sense, and that is that if a school is highly ranked, if it's highly valued by companies and industry, or by some random, media outlet ranking list, more people are going to apply, therefore they can be pickier. The last strong correlation was out-of-state tuition, and that is that the higher a school is ranked, the higher the out-of-state tuition is. And that makes sense because if you're a highly ranked school and people are coming from out of state, they're already coming super far just to come to your school. Cost isn't a huge factor because just by paying out-of-state tuition, they know they're going to be paying probably at least twice as much as they would if they stayed in-state. And then for a high-ranked school, it's going to be even more because they know they can ask for it because people want to come to their school. So those were the strong correlations between different statistics and school rank. There were a few weaker correlations. They were, I think maybe in the 0.4 to 0.5 range or 0.3 to 0.5 range. Again, I'm being super lenient with my statistics here, but these are ones that are not super strong, but still stronger than some of the others. So the first one I want to talk about is graduate salary and then graduate debt to income ratio. Higher ranked schools, they tend to make more money when they graduate, and therefore their student debt is a lower portion of their income. And that makes sense because bigger schools, higher ranked schools, often have better networking and professional connections, whether it's companies, whether it's alumni. And also, if they have higher salaries from their graduates, there's a chance that their alumni donate more, which means they can offset the cost more and their loans will be smaller. So if you get into one of these schools, you have better outcomes. Another weak correlation is that a higher ranked school has a lower acceptance rate, which Makes sense, one, because we already talked about how they would have higher requirements, but also so many people apply and they can only let in so many people, so therefore their acceptance rate is going to be lower. That's just the math of it. The third thing to talk about is household income. Schools that are ranked higher tend to have students who come from households with higher incomes. You can talk about why this is or isn't, whether it's opportunity and resource differences, or if lower income students are more worried about the high costs of private or high-ranked schools or going out of state, so they avoid them. Whatever it might be, there's a trend that the higher ranked school is, the higher the income of the families that go there. So that's sort of a cultural difference, maybe what kinds of people will be there, but it's not a massive difference. I wouldn't be worried about that too much. And then the last thing is total in-state cost. So while out-of-state tuition was a strong correlation that, if someone's coming halfway across the country to come to your university, jack up the price if you're high ranked. But even for students who are in-state, the higher ranked a school, the more they're going to pay. Again, this is because they can attract more students and they can charge more and people are willing to pay it. But also, a higher ranked school may have more resources, more costs, and more opportunities. So there's sort of reasons for it. Whether or not those reasons are reasons you find good, it's up to you to decide, but you will see higher costs with higher ranked schools. So looking at these sets of correlations, is a higher ranked school worth it? That's a question only you can answer for yourself on a college by college basis, but this lets you know the general trends that rank associates with so that you can know what you're getting into. Some important things to note are that student body size, percent of minorities, percent of male to female ratio, and things like that. None of those correlated with rank, and so therefore you don't have to necessarily worry about who is going to be there. Thanks for watching this episode of By the Numbers here on the College Guide. We'll see you next time.